Hi, this is John Reed, um, founder of Likens Valley Sasquatch Hunters, a little Sasquatch group on Facebook. Check us out. Today, I'm going to do a little bit of Sasquatch 101 for you. It'll be the first of hopefully many different training films. Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Matt Moneymaker, Bobo, Renee, and Finding Bigfoot crew. Now, I've noticed that they do a lot of things, but I don't believe they know why they do them. I mean, in my studies and the things that I've found um, through the research we've been doing around here, um, it seems that when they do the tree knocks, they don't understand why they do them. But they do them every time, every place they go. I believe that that is one thing that they do wrong. My experience, what I have found is that tree knocks is a warning to get out of their territory. So therefore, when they sit around and do their tree knocks, they try and get one response. They're basically having a battle with the Sasquatch, telling it, hey, we're stronger than you, we're bigger than you, get out of our territory. So why do they never get to see one on film? Why do they never get proof? Why do they never get anything? Because they're constantly doing tree knocks. A tree knock is telling them to leave. So if a Bigfoot comes to you and does a tree knock, he's basically telling you to leave. And if you do one back, you're fighting with it. You're telling it to leave itself. So that would explain why they don't have coming in too often or getting very close. Another thing I noticed that they do that we don't do in our studies here is they constantly go and not only bounce around from place to place. Hey, I hear there's a Bigfoot over here. Hey, I hear there's a Bigfoot over there. Let's go investigate and see what we can find. Well, just because a Bigfoot walks by your house one day doesn't mean it's going to be there the next day. What if you stay there for a week or a month or even a year? You may be able to see it numerous times. So instead of bouncing around from place to place and state to state and town to town, you have to stay in one spot, study one spot, one area, find out where they live, and basically get friendly with the family that lives in the area. The other thing with that is when they're out doing their studies, they they're constantly moving, walking around, walking through the woods, walking here, walking there. What do? They expect they're just going to follow them and jump out on the road and say, "Hi, here I am." Everyone knows. I mean, it's one thing that everybody agrees on is that they're peepers, that they're very curious, that they want to know what's going on, so they're checking you out from here or there. But if you're out walking around, they really can't see what you're doing. I mean, even when they have their little disco parties in the woods or put their rabbits out in cages, hardly anybody ever stays in the camp and just sits there and monitors the camp. I mean, if they would just stay sitting in one spot, call them in, they come in, and they would get closer and closer, and eventually they would get some proof. Now, I really don't, I really don't think that they're going to have any luck. Just going from state to state, town to town, doing things the way they do it. Now, me and some of the other researchers that I have in our group, we have found that we just stick to our same area, to our same study area. Things are fine, and uh, we do get a lot of activity, as I was saying, and stay in one spot. This is, like I say, what we do. What we've found works for us is we'll go to a certain spot. We have a nice area where we do our research, and for one thing, I know the best time to all of our sightings have been at dusk. Um, but then again, a lot of our activity has been later on into 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. So they are nocturnal from what we found around our area. We do have a lot of activity, like I say, a lot of activity at night, 2, 1, 2, 3 in the morning. But we do have quite a few different sightings, which we'll get into those another time. And they all seem to have happened around dusk. So basically, like I said, the going from place to place, town to town, state to state, looking just doesn't seem like it's doing them any good. Like I said, the best I could say is probably, like we're having such great luck. We have a family of three that comes into us. Um, they've been getting closer and closer, uh, and that's something else that I've learned. Yeah, yeah, I learn a few things here and there from finding Bigfoot, but mostly I watch it because it's like a comedy. Um, just to see what they're gonna do. It just seems like everything that I believe or I can see to be close to being real or something I would believe is real, Renee says is fake. And anything that you can just plainly, blatantly see as fake, Renee says, that could be. And even when they're doing their campouts at night, when just one of them goes and spends the night in the spot or something, they don't stay there to camp. They don't wait for them to come to them. They go try and find them. You're not going to find a Bigfoot. You're not going to track a Bigfoot in the woods at night. Period. It's not going to happen. Sasquatch is going to come to you because they're curious. A lot of the sightings we had was basically you could tell it was out of curiosity. And numerous sightings have reported just them peeking on you because there's new activity in the area. And that is one of the things. You have to find yourself a good spot, camp out there, hang out, and wait and listen. You can't be totally noisy, but you have to make enough noise to make them curious, have enough light and sound around to make them curious to come and see what's going on. But you can't be stomping around the woods trying to hunt them down, doing calls, doing tree knocks, things like that. Now, doing calls, that's another thing. They'll do a call, then they'll do tree knocks, then they'll do a call. It's kind of confusing because, like I said, what we've found is if we do a call, we may get a response. And about 75% of the time, in the spots where we have had our activity, we'll go out. Sometimes we'll set up a little spot to hang out for a while. Usually go out around 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes we'll throw some coffee and bacon on the hibachi just to have some smells out there. Once we're all settled in, we'll do a call. Maybe one or two. And eventually we do have activity in the area. Now, the activity isn't always the same. Um, there's been a time a fellow researcher was up here with us, and we could track by the sounds that were being made, getting closer and closer to us. First, it kind of sounded like a dog barking in the distance, and it just seemed like it was walking straight towards us. It walked towards us closer and closer. Then it started to sound more like a coyote. Then when it was within 75 yards of us, you could just hear it walking closer and closer. But it started going to bird whistles and a whistling sound. Now, here in Pennsylvania, I know all the animals we have, and we do not have any birds that sound like that walking through the woods. None of them are large enough to make that much noise coming towards us. As we heard the whistling, the birds, it went from a bird whistling to a human whistling. That's when we started responding to them with whistles. I mean, it's another way that I believe they communicate. They'll communicate with whistling, clapping your hands. Also, they'll respond to that, snapping your fingers, just making all kinds of little non-threatening gestures. Tree knocks, you don't want to do that. That's going to scare them away or get you attacked, one of the two. Um, so if you have a good spot and you know there are squats in the area, you just have to be patient. If they want you to see them, you'll see them. If they want to come see what you're doing, you're going to find out. They'll come to you. So my suggestions on all this is don't be like Matt Moneymaker and the crew and go out running around trying to find this and that in every other state. Um, find yourself a good spot where you know that they're at. Sit there, be patient. Give out a call or two. Maybe bait them in, leave a couple different offerings. Put some fruit and stuff in a bowl. Um, close to where you are. Check it frequently. A lot of times they'll leave. A lot of times they'll leave you little gifts in return. Now, another thing I suggest is get yourself a good Squatch dog like this one here. This is my Hannah. She's my Squatch dog. Yes, she likes to go out squatching with us, and she reacts different to animals than she does to people. And I believe that when she knows there's a squatch in the area, she she reacts a heck of a lot different than she does when there's people around, and a lot different than when there's other animals around. Like I say, she's been out in the mountains with us many times. She's seen deer, she's seen birds, she's seen all kinds of things. So she knows what's out there, and she knows she knows what to bark at and what not to. So, like I say, best thing I can say is don't be like Moneymaker and the crew going out there stomping around, scaring everybody away, scaring everything away. Find yourself in a good spot, sit down, maybe make some bacon, something stinky that they think they might like. Give a nice good old Squatch call and listen. Listen to what your surroundings are and hear what you're coming in. Basically, when the Squatch are around, everything gets silent. Um, we were out with the 17-year locust, and everything was silent. It was nothing. No birds, no nothing. All you could hear were the locusts. We were driving through our area and we went to find out where we were going to go, and we found one spot in the middle of the game lands. It was just totally silent. There weren't even locusts, weren't even loud. And we sat up there. We kicked back for a while. And we heard a few grunts coming from one side of us. We heard a tree being pushed over on another side of us, and we heard one was clacking rocks behind us. I mean, the family comes into us now. They're getting to know us. So best I can say is they're getting to know us, and take a little bit from what you know from everybody and see what works for you. This has worked for us, and hopefully it'll work for you. Hey, good luck squatching.